What's up, everybody? It's Connor.
It's Vaughn.
Coming at you live all about health here in Woodside with our first ever podcast. Why are we doing the podcast? Well, because we want to answer your questions and give you the knowledge that we've had for the combined a lot of years. So, speaking of all those years of experience, Vaughn, give us a brief summary, kind of your journey. You just competed in your first ever junior nationals, competing for your pro card.
Yes.
When did that journey start? Give us a little bit about kind of what's going on in your life in that realm.
So when I first started or getting into competing, this was 2020. So I was at University of West Georgia on campus from 2018 through 2020. And me not knowing anybody at that campus, I'm an introvert. I'm more to myself. So the only places I would spend my free time was at the gym, cafeteria, and then at my apartment. So during that time, I was looking up on YouTube every so often, and just looking at workouts, looking at different influencers, from CrossFitters to bodybuilders to people that are just gym rats, and I was just kind of getting all my informational or informative advice from them as far as how to go to the gym, how to lift, how to eat, how to train, and so learning just those correct rep ranges and stuff like that. I was able to put on an easy 10 pounds, and this was just through nutrition and diet. I wasn't even having protein shakes at the time. I couldn't afford it, and so that's kind of how I kind of got into the gym, got onto a routine. Moved back to Cobb County during 2020 because of COVID. Started doing a lot of calisthenic work, and that helped shred me up a lot.
Right.
I wasn't planning to shred up, but
how much were you weighing back then?
I was at 173 pounds during COVID era. So before COVID, I was like 190.
Wow.
When gym shut down and everything like that, I dropped a lot of weight, but I looked really good because I had my body fat was really low.
Is that when you decided to start doing shows?
Yeah. So that around that time, that's when I kind of went over to Lifetime Fitness, met a couple people over there. They told me, hey, 6 weeks from now is Lee Haney. You look like you're in shape, so you should just give it a try. So went out, gave it a try, went in there with no high expectations. Ended up placing 5th. So then I told myself before the show, I said, if I place with only 6 weeks to prepare, then I have a future. If I really dial it in. So that's what happened. I ended up placing, and we're here now. So I did 5 shows since. From men's physique, did 3 in men's physique, and 2 in classic. So I think that's where I'm staying at right now. Is classic physique.
Yeah, you definitely got the build for it. And you're weighing in around.
I'm at 222, between 222 and 223. Now.
Okay, so that's like 50 pounds.
Yes.
So 50 pounds. What did it take to put on that 50 pounds in like 3 years?
Man, really it started mentally. So mentally, I had to make sure, I was dialed in, locked in, and this is what I wanted to do. After that, it came with nutrition, it came with rest, and then it came with the workouts. So, and I ranked that in order.
So nutrition, so ranking in order, number 1, most important, you would say nutrition?
Correct.
And number 2 is rest?
Right.
And then the third most important thing is workouts? That's not the most important thing?
No, it's
not. That's crazy.
So with the workouts, it's probably about 20% of the whole process.
Okay.
In my opinion, it's about 20% of the whole process.
Yeah.
So, and don't get me wrong, the workouts are important. But this is probably the least of your concern as far as chasing a specific physique. Right. So
and I would say, my entire life, I was always focused on the workouts.
Same.
And I wasn't focused on the rest or the nutrition. I grew up playing football my entire life. Obviously, I grew up around here, and always knew about nutrition. I always knew about like supplements and stuff like that.
Right.
But was always trying to eat a lot to get big for football. I played defensive end, linebacker, fullback. So I was always trying to get bigger and put on size. My freshman year, I was like 148 pounds during wrestling season, 5'8", and then graduated at 6'1", 245. And then my freshman year of college, I ended up at 285, 6'2", 285. I kept on growing. I was the strongest kid on my team as a freshman, and so I always had the workouts and the eating right. But I never, I wouldn't say the eating. I always had the workouts and the supplementation part, but I never had the diet because I was a lineman. I wasn't focused on my physique.
Gotcha.
Now I've been in this bodybuilding world, I guess. I've been in it ever since I started working here back in like 2012, 2013, on and off. But then I did Orange Theory Fitness, and there I was doing like keto, intermittent fasting, trying all these fad diets to drop a quick 20, 30 pounds. And now I've realized there's a lot more to nutrition. You know, over the last, I would say, really 5 years, really focused on it. But really even more so being in this bodybuilding realm, committed for the last year. And I'm planning on doing a show next June. So at home, hold me to it. Clash of the Titans 2024 is going down.
Finally doing it.
I'm putting it on the table, and I am.
Yes.
But now I am realizing, you know, starting at 357 pounds last year at April 30th, starting to try and do keto, all that stuff, the nutrition really is the most important. And we'll get to that, but what does everybody always start with when they start their fitness journey?
They start in the gym.
In the gym.
Yeah. That's
so, you know, but that's like the third most important thing. Still really important. Again, notice how we didn't talk about supplements. We didn't talk about, you know, anything else. We talked about nutrition, rest, and workouts. We didn't say anything about supplements. Supplements come after those three, right? Once you're doing those three things right, then you add those to kind of enhance your results, right? But you have to have those first three correctly first. Which is why we've been doing what recently?
A bunch of nutritional consultations. So we've worked with ranges from, you know, high school athletes to bodybuilders to people that are just looking to change their lifestyle. So, you know, it's basically same thing for everybody, but, you know, just different quantities of food, different training, different styles of training, but they're all three, you know, doing the same thing. So I mean, we're just basically kind of helping the community, you know, hit and reach those goals as desired. So
our goal of this podcast is to inform people at home, you know, what they're doing, help to maybe perfect some of the areas in their life where they feel like are lacking, or maybe they don't have a lot of understanding on. And the first thing I would rather start with would be workouts. You know, and then we'll work up to the most important, which is nutrition. So stay tuned for that. But workouts. Do we do CrossFit? Do we do a lot of running? Do we do powerlifting? Like, you know, based on their goals, what should they be doing?
So I would say, you know, if you're trying to build optimal muscle and cut your body fat low, you know, I'd be hitting ranges. I'll be doing hypertrophy workouts. So you want to do at least between 10 and 12 rep range. And when I say 10 and 12, I don't mean an easy 10 and 12. You know, those last couple of reps should be struggle reps.
It shouldn't be going through the motions.
No.
Ronnie Coleman made lightweight, baby. But you should not be lifting lightweight.
You know, he was psyching himself into that mentality, but it wasn't light, you know, at the end of the day. So, no, that's kind of the rep range. If you're trying to build muscle, you know, I'd stay in that rep range. If you're more of a power lifter, you know, I'd be aiming for those 1 rep maxes to 6 reps max probably. And, you know, if you're just kind of a person, you know, looking for or training for high endurance, you know, events, maybe running and stuff like that, I'd probably be shooting for about 20 reps. Just to get that muscle endurance up. So everybody's got different styles of training. It's not just go in there and lift heavy weights and, you know, wake up swole the next day.
So before going to the gym, decide what your goals are, You got SMART goals. Everybody knows what SMART goals are: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. Be sure you know what your goals are before you go in and start doing kip and pull-ups like CrossFit. You end up hurting yourself because you're not at a CrossFit gym. You know, you see a lot of people doing CrossFit, powerlifting, even Olympic lifts like snatches and stuff like that at a gym, but they're, you know, just seem like they're first-time gym goers. You know, you can hurt your wrists. I mean, I know we both probably hurt our wrists doing power cleans, hand cleans, and football training. So really be sure that you know what your goals are. You're seeking advice from experts if you are looking to do powerlifting or CrossFit or anything like that, because injuries will happen.
They will.
I'm a prime example. I think I was going from football workouts straight into, you know, trying to do bodybuilding workouts when I was 19, 20 years old, and I was really strong, don't get me wrong, and I had pretty decent form. I've been working out my whole life, but I was doing deadlifts, and I was doing 500 pounds at a LA Fitness way back in the day, and so it's 10 years ago, and I was doing a set of 20 with 5 plates on each side. I was just trying to show. That's called ego lifting. Don't do it. And on the 4th or 5th rep, I was trying to rep them out as quick as possible. Right. There's not a lot of people that can just rep out 500 pounds like it's easy. Yeah. And they ended up slipping a disc in my back on the 4th or 5th rep, and I've had back injuries ever since. So I can tell you guys, Brian Hall or. Brian Shaw, Eddie Hall, all those guys, they say unless you're trying to be a deadlifter, even Jake Cutler, a bodybuilder, unless you're trying to do the deadlift competitively and you're seeking out professional help, don't do deadlifts. It is one of the highest risk, lowest reward exercises you can do. So now I do more rack pulls from the knees up because anything below my knees really tears my back up. I can do like lightweight straight leg deadlifts like I did yesterday for hamstrings. But when it comes to workouts, guys, again, if you're trying to build muscle like Vaughn said and cut the body fat, muscle hypertrophy, the bodybuilding type workouts. So on that muscle hypertrophy, since that's what we do, I would say we're experts on that at this point. We spend a lot of hours in the gym. What does that entail? Are you doing every body part twice a week, 3 times a week, once a week, and what does that look like?
So what I found with and getting everything else involved as far as like nutrition, as far as rest, and as far as the workouts, I figured what works best for me is 4 days on, 3 days off, and that's what I do in the off season.
Is that 4 days in a row, then 3 days off?
Yeah.
Or do you cycle it?
So it kind of depends on how I'm feeling at the time. Sometimes I can go 3 days on, 1 day off, then go again for 1 more day, and then take those 2 days off. I just kind of play it by feel.
Gotcha.
Because
your body by
now. Your body's going to tell you I'm tired. Your body's going to tell you I can't do this weight, and I don't think you should try to do this weight. So in the off season, what works best for me is 4 days on, 3 days off, and I'm able to build a substantial amount of muscle while also keeping my body fat moderately low. Now, in the off season, in the bulking season, body fat, you're going to put on body fat. I mean, you're not trying.
You mean I can't just put on muscle and lose body fat at the same time?
You can, but it's just going to take you extremely long time. So what you could achieve in maybe a year is going to take you about 2.5, 3 years trying to chase that route. So, and that's just what works best for me. Now, if I'm on season, I'm doing more 5 days on, 1 day of cardio, and then having 1 day off. You got to up the intensity just a little bit because you competing against guys that some of them are training 7 days a week, 6 days a week. So, but as far as in the off season, as far as bulking, I'm doing 4 days on, 3 days off, and that's been working good for me. I've been able to put on that 50 pounds of muscle, starting at 170 to 220. So, that's just what works best.
So on your splits, what do your splits look like? Take me through, you work out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Say you work out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. What do each of those? What's your first workout look like? Your second, body part wise, how do you split that up?
So Mondays, training chest.
You throw any triceps in there?
No. So if anything, if I'm going to do a second workout, I do biceps. I decided to take the advice from Lee Haney. When he was here in May, he was telling us, not to overtrain a ligament, not to overtrain a body part. Meaning, if I'm doing chest, not to sit there and hit triceps at the end of the day, because eventually your elbows are going to start aching, and you're going to end up wondering why there's so much inflammation.
You're overtraining that one plane of motion.
Right. So that's kind of how I do. So if I'm doing chest, if I do decide to do a second workout, it'll be biceps. The very next day, if I'm doing back, and I decide to do a second workout, it's going to be triceps. For squats or for legs, it's just basically I'm hitting the whole entire leg, but that's probably the longest I'm in the gym. So, as my other workouts usually last from about an hour and 15 to an hour and a half max. Whereas if I'm hitting legs, it's at least a 2-hour workout because I'm hitting the fronts, I'm hitting the back, and I'm just trying to, since I'm hitting it 1 time a week, I'm trying to kill my legs. Then that very last day, that's when I'm doing my shoulders and arms, just a little small muscle group. So, and I've been injury free. I've been able to hold muscle, put on muscle, and keep my body fat optimally low. So, that's kind of how my split routine works. Now, I will switch it up every now and then because eventually my body's gonna know Monday is chest day, Tuesday's back day, and so on.
Once you're getting closer to your competitions, you'll be doing the 5-day split, chest, back, legs, shoulders, arms, and then throwing cardio in there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's good to be on a routine, but it's also good to confuse the muscle, because that's really gonna up that intensity as far as your training.
Right. And what's your body fat sitting at right now?
Right now,
just under 6%.
Yeah, about 5.5%.
Okay.
Is the last
so that's what your split looks like. Is you're trying to bulk. For me, I'm sitting around 16-17% body fat. I'm starting to cut because my show's 30 something weeks out. Right. I got a long time to go, but I'm trying to get the body fat off before I start prepping for the show. Right. So that way you don't have to drop as much. So I'm doing it now. So my split's 5 days a week. And again, we have different goals right now. So that's why it's so important to set your goals and then decide what you want to do. If you're having a higher, in the teens body fat percentage or 20 and up, anywhere around there, you probably want to start by trying to shed some of that fat off so you can see what muscle is under there, and then you can really develop the muscle. I've been seeing your, pictures that you've been showing your updates, and the thickness of your back and stuff like that is really coming out, but you can see it because you do have a lower body fat percentage. So for me, I'm doing, hamstrings on Monday. Today was chest day with a little bit of triceps at the end. Tomorrow's going to be back with a little bit of biceps. Thursday's going to be my second leg day, which is going to be quad focus on my push-in movements, like leg press, squats, all that stuff. And then Friday is going to be my delts and abs, like doing my shoulders and abs, and then take the weekends off. Because recently I just came off a long break doing 6 days a week, 2.5 hour workouts, like burning myself out. Got down to like 10-11% body fat, but now I'm around 16 probably right now. I've been back in about a week. But sitting at 16% body fat now, just because I need to give my body that rest. Because I was way overtraining. So I think that leads us into our second thing. We'll remind you this, because this kind of ties in right into rest, is each body part, do you know how many hours each body part needs to fully recover?
No.
It's 72 hours. 72 that's 3 days. So that means a lot of people will do legs 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It's like you're not giving your legs enough rest.
Especially a muscle group that big. I mean, you probably, definitely at least 72 hours.
Yeah, when I was getting my personal training certification, that's like standard. That's like the thing that every body part that you train needs 72 hours of recovery before you're able to train it again. My little brother, when he was in town, he was talking about rest, right? He was talking about sandpaper. It was a great analogy. My little brother, he's about to be 16 years old, really getting in the gym. He meal preps all his, I saw his meal, but he had like 10 meals lined up, and I'm like, what in the world, dude?
I wish I was doing that.
Works out at 5 a.m. before school. I'm like, goodness, he's got a lot of my dad in him, that's for sure. Very type A, but he was talking about sandpaper, and he said, it's like rubbing your hand with sandpaper until it blisters and it's red. And if you keep doing that and you don't give it time to heal, it's just going to keep getting worn down and worn down. But if you let it heal, what do we have on our hands from working out so much? Calluses. But if you let it heal, and it's stronger, right? That's the skin getting tougher. So that's the same thing with your muscles. If you're training the same body part over and over and over, like C.T. Fletcher's like, I told myself I want big mother arms, so I did arms heavy mother. Dang, you know what I mean? But that's not optimal, is it? Right? C.T. Fletcher's on a lot of other stuff. I think they help with that recovery. So, for the average person, that is not something that we suggest. That's not something you should pursue. Because you're just going to end up hurting yourself, right? Because what do you need?
You need rest.
You need rest.
You need rest.
I mean, right now you're bulking. What's the best thing you can do?
3 days on. 4 days on, 3 days off. I'm burning.
That's a lot of rest.
I'm burning less calories than I am consuming that way, and that's how you gain weight. So everybody's not C.T. Fletcher. Everybody can sit there and hit biceps legs every single day. You can try. But just don't blame me. Just don't blame me.
So I'm not going to get 22-inch arms doing arms every single day?
I mean, I wouldn't think so.
And you got to think about it physiologically. I think, a lot of people don't understand what their muscles are doing. I think a lot of people feel like their muscles are getting stronger when they lift weights. Like, lifting weights is a tool to actually tear your muscles down. So then we eat, and our muscles recover with the protein, and they get stronger and bigger. The protein and the carbs fills in those gaps. So over time, because when you place a stimuli upon your body adapts and it responds. We were created awesome, and we were created like machines. You know what I mean? To work. So whenever that stimuli of muscle hypertrophy, which is muscle growth, you actually have to break your muscle down first in order for it to get bigger and stronger. Have you ever broken a bone before?
I have. I broke plenty of bones. My thumb, my ankle, my nose. I broke them all.
And what ends up happening?
It grows back stronger.
Right? Everybody knows that. You know, whenever you break a bone, it grows back stronger. Your muscles do the same thing. But in order for that to happen, if you keep breaking and breaking and breaking and breaking your arm, what do they do? They put it. If I broke my arm, what do they put my arm in?
In a cast.
Why?
Yeah.
So it can rest, right?
Held in place.
So I can't bench. I can't do anything. You got to give it time to heal. So you got to give your muscles time to heal. So if you're out there and you're trying to bulk, rest. Work out 4 days a week, even 3 days a week. You know what I mean? Enjoy those periods, and then once the end of winter, early spring comes, then you can start looking at taking some of those layers off. You know, like I got some layers right now, so then you can start taking those layers off to see what's under that. But you got to build it from the ground up.
You don't want it to seem like a chore. You don't want it to be like, I just hit it 3 days in a row. Now I'm extremely tired and my back hurts and so on and so forth, and now I got to go tomorrow. No. Your body's telling you, hey, stop today, please, and I need to rest, and we'll start back in 2 days from now.
So again, if your goal is bulking, commit to bulking. Give your body the rest. Give your body a caloric surplus. Because I used to use this imagery like Michelangelo. You know, he was a sculptor and an artist way back in the day, and he starts with what? A big chunk of marble. Right, and then he chisels it down into the ripped shape that you see of all these statues that he created. Right. So bulking season, put that on and then chisel it down. I mean, I'm a big hunk of marble right now, big, strong, thick hunk of marble, and then we're gonna chisel it down and see in June what that looks like underneath it all.
So that's kind of what I'm aiming to get right now. Be a big old chunk of marble. Then as soon as January, February kicks off, I'm chiseling down, and I really like that because you can basically choose your physique. You can say, hey, I want to look like this, and this is what I'm going to work on. And you're basically starting from not from scratch, but you got a good
blank canvas.
So I love that. It's just like being a sculptor. I mean, that's all it is. It's an art at the end of it.
It's like Kai Green. He's crazy. He's weird, but he's an artist. And artists are usually weird.
They are.
I mean, you see his if you ever look up his posing routines. I mean, it's an art. Like the guy that you use for posing.
It's a guy I follow on Instagram. Can't remember his name. But as far as his posing routine, he shows posing routines, different kinds of posing routines.
It's fluid, it's smooth, it's almost like a contemporary dance or something like that.
Ballerina. But it's cool. I mean, it's literally just like that. It's an art, it's a craft, and it's something you got to show off to the world.
That's good. So we got workouts. We covered that. We covered why it's important to rest after your workouts, and what's the most important thing.
Most important is nutrition. Please understand that you are what you eat. If you eat terrible, you look terrible. If you eat little, you'll be
you mean I can't eat Big Macs and ice cream and McFlurries and Blizzards?
If you can, but don't expect to look like a superhero.
Like Jay Cutler, right? Or Ronnie Coleman, or C-Bomb. I'm drinking his bum energy right now. This is not a can of Sprite, I promise you that.
And I never knew what that, and I was always told that when I was from elementary school all the way up to now, like, you are what you eat. And I'm literally, I'm taking it for a literal stance. But, it's really like that. If you eat bad, you look bad. If you eat good, you'll look good. You'll feel good. So it's like how Deion Sanders said, if you look good, you play good, you feel good, you feel good, money comes. So, so it's literally like that. I mean, it comes down to figuring out what the right proteins are for your body type. Figuring out how many grams of protein you need, how many carbs your body needs and how many fats your body needs. Because what works for me might not work for you.
Right. And it doesn't. Because what he can eat, I can't necessarily eat.
Right.
You know, he's bulking, but he's a lean, low percentage body fat. Now, after my show, I'm sure I'll have a lot more grace period on what I can eat and stuff like that. Because I'll have that 5-6% body fat, and then you can keep it there, and you can keep it within range.
Right.
But if you're at a higher body fat percentage, and you're eating these kind of junky foods, it's just going to continue to add on and take away from that look that we all crave.
Right.
And I like this saying that somebody, I don't know who said this, but everybody has probably heard this before. Do something today that yourself tomorrow is going to be thankful for. So that's what I try and remember. Like, there is a peak physique that I want, that I believe I deserve through my hard work and dedication. I've worked so hard my entire life, like in the gym and workouts, but the eating has got to be there, or all of that is almost null and void, right?
Right.
Because what can't you do? You can't outrun what?
Man, you can't outrun the diet.
Right.
You can't. Yeah, you just can't. You can try.
So you mean I can't eat whatever I want, work out 3 hours a day, and look like, Phil Heath or any of these guys?
No.
Like C-Bum?
Right. Is that like we're Captain America? We can hop in this chamber, get hit with some shots, and then wake up swole. Just come out swole. No. You have to basically do, what's required for your body type. So, I'm eating 3,600 calories right now. Proteins at 240 grams. Carbs are about 300, 320, and my fats are about 80 to 90 grams. But for somebody like you, or for somebody that's shorter and weighs less than I am, that might not work for the both of y'all.
Right. So how did you figure out your BMR? What all factors do you factor in when you calculate your BMR?
So the BMR, your basal metabolic rate, basically the calories you need to just maintain. I calculated that through comparisons from the InBody and online, a calculator online, and based off my work style, my work life, how many calories I'm burning, outside of the gym, outside of work. You just got to kind of contribute all that together, and my BMR was about 2,300 calories. And when I first started bodybuilding, I was eating that thinking that I was bulking, and not realizing that's what I need to just stay the same. So up in that, using that as a base and basically playing around with my proteins, fats, and carbs, that's when I was able to achieve and hit my goal, which was be above 200 pounds. And just making those adjustments every month, every couple of weeks, the weight still goes up, but muscle mass still goes up, and that's the goal here. So,
right. So I tell everybody whenever we start, because we've been doing nutritional consultations now for the larger part of this year, flip the lights off and keep them off real quick. I tell everybody, when you start a regiment and eating program and you're just trying to eat like you were trying to eat 2,300 calories, it's trying to guess. I mean, if we got a bow and arrow and we put a target on the wall, we blindfold and we spin me around in this chair a bunch of times, and you tell me to hit that target, I'm never going to hit that target. Why? Because I can't see. I don't know where the target is. I don't know what the target looks like. But when you flip the lights on, and you actually know what your body fat is, your muscle mass, your weight, your BMR, how many macros you need, how many protein, how many fats, how many carbs to reach your goals, whether it's bulking or cutting. Now you can hit your target because you're doing it. It's a science, right? Like, it is a legit science. And who are the best people in the world to take advice from if you're trying to build muscle and cut body fat?
That's bodybuilders.
Bodybuilders, okay. You know what I mean? And it's not saying that everybody at home wants to be a bodybuilder, but most everybody who's into fitness, which is probably why you're tuning in and you shop at our store, is because you want to have more muscle and you want to have less body fat. I mean, everybody does, right? Everybody wants to look like Arnold.
I mean, everybody. I mean, that's kind of that superhero look. That small waist, those big puffy muscles, real defined muscles. I mean, that's the whole sport. And I mean, that's basically, the same strategy that people that aren't, looking to compete in bodybuilding but looking to build that muscle and keep the body fat. That's the same strategy. You just gotta go for it. Now, there's differences as to why bodybuilders look the way they look, and why everybody else doesn't look like that. But at the end of the day, it all comes
the same thing.
All comes down to nutrition.
And everybody's doing the same workouts. All of them probably rest the same amount of time.
Right.
But when you look on stage at who looks the best, what does it ultimately come down to?
Who's the most leanest?
Yeah.
And who's the biggest?
And it comes down to nutrition, right?
Nutrition.
I mean, who's been the most on point with nutrition, leading all the way up to the show to get the best muscle growth, because they're all taking the same supplements.
Oh, yeah.
Which is why we're not talking about supplements. Because supplements have like 2 to 5% to do with the whole thing.
Right.
You know, obviously TRT helps. I've been off of TRT the last 6 weeks to let my body reset, and then when it hit it, you know, jump back on my prescription here probably the next 4 weeks or so.
Right.
After I give my receptors a break, and then because at some point your body does build up a tolerance to supplements, right? So supplements start to have a diminishing return. So that's why diet is so important.
Yeah.
Because if you have that, I mean, I can not work out, not take supplements, change my diet, and look better, but I can't take supplements, I can't work out, and not change my diet, and not eat right, and look the way I want to look, right? So I've told a lot of people, I've done nutritional consultations that wanted to spend like $200 on, you know, product. I'm like, look, stop. How many meals are you eating? They're like, 2 to 3. I eat pretty good. How many meals do you eat a day? 2 to 3. It was like that one kid that was in here, remember? And he was like, he's a pretty big kid. I mean, he's pretty big. And I was like, all right. He was like, I'm eating pretty good. I feel like I'm eating a lot. I'm like, all right, what have you eaten today? He ate like half a cup of oatmeal, 3 eggs for breakfast. That's like
3 o'clock in the afternoon.
And he'd eaten 2 meals by like 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm like, that's, you know, where, and he got a bunch of other supplements. He's still gotten supplements. And it's not to like knock him, but again, it's like training with lights off, not really knowing how to get to where you want to go. It'd be like trying to drive from here to Maine without a GPS. Like, we gonna get lost as a mother. You know what I mean? We're not gonna end up in Maine. I mean, I'm gonna go north the whole time. We're probably gonna end up in Canada.
Not no time soon. I mean, you'll end up figuring out you're going the wrong way.
2 meatheads in a car for 24 hours. There's no telling where we're gonna end up.
When you do that, what you doing? You're setting yourself back. You're setting time back, and you know, you taking longer to hit that destination. So
what would be your best advice for somebody at home saying, where do I start?
I'd definitely say start with nutrition first. First and foremost.
How can they start with that? Like, where should they go?
You know, they can come here in the store. They can do set up a nutritional consultation with either Connor or I.
Where do we do those consultations at?
We do it right here in our store at All About Health.
In this very room?
Yes, we do.
And we got our InBody machine right there.
We use that InBody machine, get what the BMR is saying from that. Then we basically compare it to the BMR online, which shows your work life and, you know, just those excess calories that you burn outside the gym. And then basically we can come up with our own our BMR that we think that works best for you, and basically go on from there. So if you're trying to gain weight, we'll either make adjustments and go above that BMR if you're trying to lose weight, and vice versa. So,
So the InBody, I like it. You use it now every 1 to 2 weeks. Probably every week to week because of the sport that you're in and your lifestyle. We suggest every 1 to 2 weeks, especially when you first start. Your body's going to make huge gains. I think right off the bat, because you know, going from eating 3 meals a day, your muscles are really flat. I mean, what's the difference in eating 3 meals a day compared to like 5 or 6? How do your muscles feel?
I mean, they feel more. They look more filled out, so which means they look bigger. So you know, if you sit there and you eat no carbs, you guys can compare people that are on keto diets, and they all pretty much have the same body type. Not saying it's bad, but you know, they're really lean, and their muscles kind of just look depleted almost.
And I think keto was started on something called the HCG diet, I think a long time ago, where people were eating very few calories, it was mostly protein and fats, and these are people who are like morbidly obese. If that's you, then yes, that would be a great start, maybe to getting the discipline and a regimen of eating cleaner. But really, it's that balance of protein, carbs, and fats that are really crucial in getting the physique and the results that you want.
Right.
I started doing the keto thing back when I was 357 pounds, and I lost like an initial 20 pounds. I got down to like 333, and then I came in here. I was like, I thought I was 300 already. Like, I've been working out for like 2 or 3 months, and I'm like, I thought I would have been a lot less than this.
Right.
But my muscle like would shrank down. I mean, I was like 123 pounds of muscle, which is a lot.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but right now I'm sitting around 143. You know what I mean? Pounds of muscle, which is a big difference because I'm actually eating carbs. A lot of people don't realize when you start keto and stop eating carbs after eating carbohydrates, your muscles store carbs as glycogen, which is like a sponge to water. So whenever you work out and you drink your protein shake, you always want to have carbs because your muscles absorb those carbs after your workout. When you do keto, your muscles lose water weight. So it's not really like you're losing fat. You know, you're not losing a bunch of body fat. You'll lose the initial 15, 20 pounds, and as soon as you start eating carbs again, your muscles absorb that water again.
Yeah. I think carbs just get a bad rep just because it's easy to overeat carbs. So, there's carbs in just about everything, from foods to drinks. And so, you thinking you're putting down just based off of your foods, you're putting down, a substantial amount of carbs, but then you drank a couple Gatorades, you drank a soda, you drank, something outside of water, which probably is about 20 to 30 grams of carbs per drink. Now you just drank about 100 grams of carbs and then just don't realize it. So that carbs aren't bad. It's just you overeat anything. And
there's good and bad types of carbs, right?
Yeah. So you got your simple carbs, you got your complex carbs. And then, what's that third one?
Fibrous carbs.
Yep.
So simple carbs like Gatorade and sugars, even like white breads and even whole wheat breads at this point, the way that the degradation of our agriculture and the way we process foods is awful. You've just been doing a study, which I want you to get into in just a minute. In your studies, he's in school right now to get his degree kind of in this field. And it's really interesting what processed foods, but processed foods spike your insulin. So they can make you diabetic, pre-diabetic, all that stuff, and it fluctuates your glucose. So complex carbs are slower releasing. They don't have as high a glycemic index, so you're not getting that big insulin spike. So that's why brown rice is super low glycemic. I'm not a huge fan of brown rice because it bloats me. Again, body types, you have to figure out what carbs, what foods work best for you. But jasmine rice is really good because it tastes like white rice, but it's super low glycemic at the same time. It's almost, I think it's even lower than brown rice, or just the same as brown rice. Basmati is another one. Just stay away from that sticky rice, the white rice that you get from like Chinese restaurants and stuff like that. Sushi even. A lot of people don't realize like the sushi rice is super high glycemic, which is why I use sushi as like my refeed and my flex meals because I love sushi. Me too. Bro, I can throw down some sushi. Well, we need to go eat an all you can eat. The sushi, I think it's Sushi Brothers, all you can eat. We need to go there for a cheat day.
I think so too. I honestly think I probably could do that all week.
And then also you got fibrous carbs. So complex carbs like your sweet potatoes, even regular potatoes, they're a little bit higher glycemic, but they're not a simple carb. They're still considered complex because it's a whole food and it's not processed. And that's the biggest thing. Berries are super low glycemic as well. Blackberries, blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, whole cup of blueberries, which is a lot of blueberries. I put in my oatmeal and so do you. It's only like 11 grams of carbs, and it's so good. And then oatmeal, that's another one. I eat that pretty much every morning.
Every single day. Hey, I've been doing that for almost 2 years. Still not tired of it.
So carbs are your friend. All right, guys, and they're not your enemy, but it's how you structure them. It's when you eat them as well, which we can all help with. But what are the other two nutrients? Carbs are everybody's favorite. What's the second favorite? Protein.
Protein.
So what are your favorite types of protein?
For me, my favorite types, eggs, number one. After eggs, I'd say, red meat, ground beef, lamb. I love eating lamb, bison. But as far as what I'm eating on a daily basis right now, it's just eggs, 3 ounces of chicken breast, 93.7 ground beef.
93.7, what does that mean?
Meaning 93% lean, 7% fat.
Gotcha.
So I'm
so not the 85-15 that's got like 30 grams of fat per serving, not ribeyes, not T-bone steaks that got like 80 grams of fat. I pulled a guy in here the other day, and he's on my nutrition program, and he said, yeah, I've been eating pretty healthy. Had like a 16-ounce ribeye for dinner. Didn't realize that alone is like 800, 900 calories, just the steak. Then had avocado, sour cream. Or no sour cream, it was avocado, and then had some eggs with it. And I was like, 12, 1,300 calories. Like, bro, that's like half your calories for the day.
Right there.
And I'm like, bro, you could have had some carbs, because carbs are filling. Like, complex carbs fill you up.
Yeah, and you feel good.
Yeah. So protein, try and stay, you're saying lean protein is better. And just not all proteins were created equal.
Right. So I know, and then for my blood type, because I'm B negative, you guys can look it up as well. It's the Eat Right for your blood type. And for me, chicken breast doesn't work well for my blood type.
You got some animal allergies too, so that probably plays a huge factor into it.
Yeah. So when I'm eating things like chicken breast or things that don't work good for my blood type, what it does to my physique, it bloats me. It makes me look puffy and watery, and that's not the look I'm chasing. So,
you eat a lot of red meats.
A lot of red meats.
And red meats does that to me.
Yeah.
Dude, there was one time I took my wife when we were dating to Fogo de Chao.
Okay.
Dude, we ate all you can eat, like steak, ribeye, filet mignon, all cooked on that nice Brazilian, slow cooker. Dude, we went out after that, and we had like a few glasses of wine. I started sweating. I felt like I had a bowling ball in the top of my, bottom of my esophagus, like just ready to, it was just stuck. It wasn't going anywhere. We ended up going home, and as soon as we got in, I started getting dizzy, pouring sweat. Threw it all up, man. And it was red. Looked like there was blood in it. I was like, what the heck, man? It was insane.
I mean, I'd probably be in heaven if I was honestly.
But that just goes to show we're two completely different people, two different body types, two different blood types, and it takes time, right? Trial and error.
Trial and error. I mean, I didn't go into this thing knowing every single thing. It takes, you get advice from people, but you also learn from your own mistakes. And I think that's what makes the journey so fun. I mean, I think that's why it's so addictive, because, you're just learning new things. You're learning new things about yourself over a period of time. And, you got space to get better. You got room to grow, and you got room to be great. So
room to fail, too. Give yourself space and grace to know that you're not going to be perfect 100% of the time.
Yeah. You know how boring life would be if you just did everything perfect? I
think there's only been one perfect person on the face of this planet. His name was Jesus Christ. That's not Connor Porter. It's not Devon Harris. I can tell you that.
So, I mean...
Trust me, I know this guy.
But I mean, I think that's just what makes the journey so, fun. It's just trial and error. And just learning new things about yourself and what works good for you.
Just like your body growing and getting stronger under that stimuli, that pressure that's put upon it. This journey and really getting to know who you are. Like, you are a strong dude. Like, not only on the outside, but on the inside too. The things you go through in life, mentally, emotionally, stuff like that. To stay consistent and learning how to overcome those obstacles makes you stronger as a person. And I feel like sometimes I'm weak in this aspect of the diet. You know what I mean? Like, personally, I feel weak. So what do? I like the Proverbs that says, a righteous man falls down 7 times and gets back up 8, but a foolish man stumbles in the time of calamity. So, in hard times, what do? Do you continue to just fall down and stay down, or do you get back up? And everybody sitting at home, no matter what's happened to you in life, you can get back up and take that put your best step forward. You know what I mean? I've seen you go through stuff. You've seen me go through stuff. And we constantly, we got brotherhood. We got that community, which is why I love all about health and just a community and the customers that have been here for 30 years since we started our first store in 1995. It's a community. How important is community in attaining and staying on this journey?
It's extremely important. I mean, just everybody having each other's backs, everybody just giving each other that advice to just keep pushing forward mentally, physically, and emotionally. And everybody's like iron sharpening iron. So, everybody's
on the back of our sweatshirts.
Exactly.
Our new shirts, Iron Sharpens Irons, are on the back.
So, I mean, that's, community is everything. You can try and do it all by yourself. I mean, I don't know how far you get doing it by yourself, but, I tell you, it makes it easier. Just having people in your corner and having people, that you can sit there and vent to and give them advice, and they return the same.
Yeah.
So
it's like Chris and Sandy.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out Chris and Sandy. They come to the store.
shout out to
Kevin
them.
and Lexi that were just in here a couple minutes ago. Those are two couples that come in here that have amazing stories and backgrounds, and just I like seeing them in the store. We love seeing you guys when y'all come to the store consistently.
Right. Yeah.
Like it just like brightens our day. We see their journeys and how they're progressing on their meal plans, and we were just talking. They fell off the wagon for a little bit, but they're getting stronger in other areas, and we just bounce those ideas off one another. It strengthens me, it strengthens them, strengthens you, strengthens. It's really cool.
Yeah, and it just shows like whatever you're going through, you may not be the only one going through that.
You're not. I promise you that. Speaking of that, isolation.
Right.
One thing that somebody may be sitting here watching this video, you may feel isolated, may feel like you're the only one in your house doing this or whatever.
Right.
You may feel alone in this journey. They did a study on rats, and cocaine addiction. Just to use this as an example, they put a rat in a cage, and it was just a rat in a cage. On one side they had water, on the other side they had cocaine water.
Right.
Well, you put me in a freaking cell. Like, look, I'm not a perfect person. I can tell you, I'm probably going to go to the cocaine water, or I'm going to go crazy, like just being in that cell. So there's one guy, I don't know his name, but he said there's obviously a flaw in this study. You put any person in a cell, you know what I mean, they're not going to be a better version of themselves. So what they did is they took a huge cage with all these hamster tubes and wheels and balls and stuff to play with, and other rats and mice to have community with, and they put cocaine water all the way over here and regular water here. They said rarely ever did a mouse or a rat go all the way to the cocaine water and come back and continue to go back to the cocaine. They said if it ever did, it rarely ever went back, and there was no addiction in that study. So they saw that the biggest factor into staying on track, on staying away from addiction and stuff like that, and we can, I think it's an analogy for all things in our life. When we fall off the wagon, community is important.
It is.
When you're in isolation, you're isolated. That's when the overeating and stuff like that comes. I know I've been through a lot of stuff in my life. When I was 357 pounds, I was going through a lot of stuff, and so I was just eating. I'm sure a lot of people out there are comfort eaters, and a lot of people turn to food because you don't have that community. But when you have community, I know you keep me on track. I want to see you succeed. I hope you want to see me succeed. So that goes a long way. So again, we would love to be your community here at All About Health. If y'all got any questions, Vaughn and I do our nutritional consultations here. We'd love to get you in for one of those. Takes about 30-45 minutes. It's $200 one time, and then that's the only time you ever pay that $200, right? Right. It's ongoing unless you want to do like a show or something like that where it's every week updates, which Vaughn does all of our coaching here on the bodybuilding side. But if that is something you want to do, guys, the InBody is free to use. If you're not ready for that consultation quite yet, let's turn the lights on, get on the InBody, and just see where you're at. It's free to use for everybody out there, whether you do a consultation or not. We are here to help you guys. Any questions y'all have, please feel free to reach out.
Please.
Who knows? We may do a podcast on your next question.
Exactly. So listen, if you got any questions, this thing right here I love it because it gives you kind of a goal to look forward to in the gym. Just having a goal, that's all that matters. So whether you want to do a show, whether you're wanting to chase a physique, it just gives you that extra motivation, that extra boost in the gym. Like I said, it doesn't make it seem like a chore. It doesn't make it seem like I have to do this because my friends are doing it and so on and so forth. You're doing it for you and what you want. So
so you don't have to be a bodybuilder.
Right. You don't have to. You don't have to.
And you don't have to gain, and you don't have to lose weight. If you're just trying to be a healthier individual, to eat better foods, healthier choices, and I like using that. I think healthier lifestyle choices instead of like a diet. Because a diet seems like I'm going on it for like 2 weeks and then I'm coming off on it. This is a lifestyle change. This is my lifestyle. Chicken and rice, all that stuff. Now you can obviously make your meals better, but anyways, chicken and rice, that's my lifestyle now. So guys, we are all about health. All about health. Inside, out. We want to see you be healthy and help you get that healthy lifestyle and reach those healthy goals that you set.
Right.
After all, we're all about health. We're knowledgeable service, makes a difference. See you soon.